Egypt, often called the gift of the Nile, is one of the oldest and most fascinating civilizations in human history. The land along the Nile River, surrounded by vast deserts, became the birthplace of a culture that lasted for thousands of years and influenced the entire world. For the dawn of civilization, circa 3100 BC, 2686 BCE, around 3100 BC, King Narmer, also known as Menes, united Upper Egypt, the southern Nile Valley, and Lower Egypt, the Nile Delta. This union created the first centralized kingdom under a pharaoh, considered not just a ruler but also a divine figure, the son of the gods. This was the beginning of dynastic Egypt, where rulers passed power through family lines, and history began to be recorded in hieroglyphic writing. Building construction. The Old Kingdom, 2686 to 2181 BCE, age of the pyramids. This era is often called the Pyramid Age. Pharaohs like Khufu, Cheops, Khafre, and Menkaure built the Great Pyramids of Giza and the Sphinx, monuments that still stand today as symbols of Egyptian greatness. Pharaohs were seen as living gods, and they built massive tombs to ensure their place in the afterlife. The entire society worked for the glory of the pharaoh, with farmers, craftsmen, and priests all contributing to Egypt's stability. Sheaf of Rice. The Middle Kingdom, 2055 to 1650 BCE. After a period of chaos, Egypt entered a phase of renewal. The Middle Kingdom focused less on grand monuments and more on prosperity for the people. The capital shifted to Thebes. Trade expanded, literature flourished, and irrigation systems improved agriculture. But eventually, Egypt was invaded by outsiders known as the Hyksos, who introduced new technology such as horse-drawn chariots and advanced weapons. Cross swords. The New Kingdom, 1550 to 1070 BCE, Egypt's Golden Age. The New Kingdom is often seen as the height of Egyptian power. Pharaohs during this period built grand temples, expanded their empire into Nubia, Sudan, and the Near East, and left behind rich cultural legacies. Hatshepsut, one of the few female pharaohs, who expanded trade and built magnificent temples. Thutmose III, a great warrior pharaoh who expanded Egypt's empire. Akhenaten, the rebel pharaoh, who tried to introduce monotheism by worshipping only the sun god Aten. Tutankhamun, King Tut, became famous in modern times when his nearly intact tomb was discovered in 1922, filled with treasures. Ramses II, Ramses the Great, one of Egypt's most powerful rulers, remembered for the Battle of Kadesh and for building enormous temples such as Abu Simbel. But after Ramses, Egypt began to weaken, facing invasions from the Sea Peoples and later falling under foreign powers. Classical building. The late period in Greek conquest, 664 to 332 BCE, Egypt struggled under repeated invasions, first by the Assyrians, then the Persians. Eventually, in 332 BCE, Alexander the Great conquered Egypt. He founded the city of Alexandria, which became one of the greatest centers of knowledge, science, and trade in the ancient world. After Alexander's death, his general Ptolemy established the Ptolemaic dynasty, a Greek family of pharaohs who ruled Egypt for nearly 300 years. The most famous of them was Cleopatra VII, who tried to preserve Egypt's independence by allying with Roman leaders like Julius Caesar and Mark Antony. But after her defeat and tragic death in 30 BCE, Egypt became a Roman province. Latin cross. Roman and Byzantine Egypt, 30 BCE, 641 CE, under Rome, Egypt was considered the breadbasket of the empire, supplying grain to feed the Roman population. Alexandria remained a hub of culture, philosophy, and early Christianity. Later, when the Roman Empire split, Egypt became part of the Byzantine Empire. Christianity spread rapidly, and many of the world's first monasteries were founded in Egypt. Mosque. Islamic Egypt, 641 to 1517 CE. In 641 CE, Arab Muslims conquered Egypt, bringing Islam and the Arabic language, which remains central to Egyptian identity today. Cairo was founded and became one of the most important cities in the Islamic world. The Fatimid dynasty established Cairo as their capital, and later the Ayyubids, under the famous leader Saladin, and the Mamluks ruled. During this time, Egypt became a center of Islamic scholarship, with Al-Azhar University, founded in 970 CE, becoming one of the world's greatest centers of learning. Castle. Ottoman and colonial period, 1517 to 1952 CE. In 1517, Egypt became part of the Ottoman Empire. Though technically under Ottoman rule, Egypt often acted independently. In 1798, Napoleon Bonaparte invaded Egypt, and though the French didn't stay long, their expedition revealed Egypt's ancient wonders to Europe, sparking modern archaeology. In 1805, Muhammad Ali rose to power and established a dynasty that modernized Egypt's military, economy, and education. His descendants ruled for more than a century. In 1869, the Suez Canal was completed, connecting the Mediterranean and Red Seas, making Egypt one of the most strategic places in the world. By 1882, Britain occupied Egypt, and although it was officially still Ottoman territory, it effectively became a British colony until the mid-20th century. Egypt. Modern Egypt, 1952, present. In 1952, the monarchy was overthrown in a revolution led by Gamal Abdel Nasser and the Free Officers Movement. Egypt became a republic. Nasser, 1952–1970, nationalized the Suez Canal in 1956, stood against Western powers, and became a leader of the Arab world. Anwar Sadat, 1970–1981, led Egypt during the Yom Kippur War against Israel in 1973, and later signed the Camp David peace accords in 1979, making Egypt the first Arab nation to recognize Israel. He was assassinated in 1981. Hosni Mubarak, 1981–2011, ruled for 30 years with stability but faced criticism for corruption and authoritarianism. 2011 Arab Spring, Egyptians rose in massive protests, forcing Mubarak to resign. After political unrest and the brief rule of Mohamed Morsi, Abdel Fattah el-Sisi took power in 2014 and remains president today, focusing on economic reforms, major construction projects, and security. Sparkle's conclusion: the history of Egypt is a story of rise, glory, decline, and rebirth. From the mighty pharaohs who built the pyramids, to the scholars of Alexandria and Cairo, to the revolutionaries of the 20th century, Egypt has always been at the heart of human civilization. It is a land where ancient and modern meet, where the Sphinx watches over bustling highways, and where the Nile still flows as it has for thousands of years, carrying with it the memory of one of the greatest civilizations the world has ever known. Thanks for listening and watching our English Stories channel.